Hello and welcome to TEW 2016, the branding solution, and tonight it is Summerslam. And for this we have so many segments to fit in, it's ridiculous. I tried to give everybody some form of match on the card or an appearance on the card. So the pre-show is the New Day 3 defeating Crime Time. Crime Time getting over a bit more. New Day 3 are improving, so this could be a future length tag team title match. Then we have a battle royale with the women who are not on the card. I have Becky Lynch picking up the win. The final four were Paige, Mickie James and Ember Moon. I got Nia Jax to have the most eliminations because I think that will help push her. We've got a host of improvements throughout the whole card, so this is really a solid match considering it was just thrown together, really. And I'm trying to figure out how many, I think it was 20 or 25 women in this match. Put together a little throwaway 6-man match. I had Jay Lethal picking up the win. This seems simple enough again, and it helps keep these guys happy. And then I think, which again was just to give the remaining men on the card a match. Jinder Mahal was an early elimination, which is all that really mattered. The improvements is nearly a full selection. Tyler Breeze I picked for the win because I am trying to push Tyler Breeze, and I had the final four as Big E, R-Truth and Justin Gabriel. I gave Braun Strowman the most eliminations to keep him strong, and the only people that weren't happy with this was actually Big E and Justin Gabriel, so I am happy enough with the way this went. We start SummerSlam with the major announcement that was coming out. And the major announcement is that the women are going to take over SmackDown. The 20 men who are on the SmackDown roster have been drafted to either show to be revealed during this show and through the next Raw and Shockwaves. I have had to use the editor just to improve the popularity of the women, but otherwise I want to have a women's only show. SmackDown works, and I'm hoping it'll be a big success. I also think that taking the limited selection of men I had on there and putting them on the other shows, we can create a lot more storylines, because when you look at what we had, we only had 6 sort of main eventers on each show. So this is the way forward for my show. These are the GMs obviously from each show: Shane and Sting from Shockwave, Edge and Mick Foley from SmackDown, and Triple H and Stephanie from Raw. My opening match is Damien Sandow defeating John Morrison with the Idolizer. I took Morrison off this title because he injured Bad News. That is his punishment. Sandow will take his title to his new show, and then we will make the decision on where the title remains or whether we end up having a unification match. Randy Orton cuts a promo about how he is going to beat AJ Styles. Simple enough, leading up to a title match. Murphy and Blake lose to the Primetime Players. I knew this was going to happen. I know who I want to really challenge the Primetime Players. It's not going to be Murphy and Blake, but I have to do a few odd little ones to keep things fresh before I can give the tag titles to the team I want. Shane McMahon says the next tag team title match is going to be against Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So that has been booked in already for the next Shockwave pay-per-view, which is in 2 weeks. Next we have Adrian Neville defending his TV title against Ty Dillinger and Alex Shelley in a ladder match. This works. It's a 58C. It's a good enough rating for the popularity of these guys, and it keeps Neville looking the strongest of this division. We have a backstage segment with The Rock and Stone Cold meeting some of the younger guys, Adam Cole, Apollo, Baron, Drew, Cedric and Rich Swann. This was more telling them to go out and steal the show when they get the chance. And it's also to hopefully boost their popularity a bit. So we'll head on. We have the Forgotten Generation defeating the Culture Club. Yep, this had to happen. A boyfriend stealer as the finisher for Billie Kay, which is okay. Yeah, I want to keep them as women's tag team champions for a little bit longer. So, in the 60s, a good match for a women's match. We have now Sasha Banks going a promo about how she'll just prove that she's going to beat Charlotte and Nikki. This should have been for the Cruiserweight. Oh, it was going to be, but they're not eligible. Okada defeats Nakamura, Pentagon Jr. and Atami. It's a really good match. And now, I was going to use the Cruiserweight title, but now that I've got the US title free, I could actually put the US and European on one card. So that also helps with my future planning. Roman Reigns cuts a promo on Samoa Joe. There is a reason for this, and you will see later in the show. Certified G's defeat the Shining Stars to become Raw Tag Team Champions. Money in the Bank was cashed in efficiently, and I'm happy that this has happened. Primo and Epico have come up a long way, so they'll be good tag team title contenders. And I'm shocked that Enzo got the highest in-ring performance rating. And they celebrate afterwards because that's what a Certified G's would do. Our next match is I believe it is Asuka defeating Alexa Bliss to retain the Women's Intercontinental. It's a slightly short match, but let's face it, we were always going to keep this belt on Asuka. And a 66 is a good match for the women's division that's constantly improving. But afterwards, Carmella comes out and floors Asuka and poses with the belt. So we have a new challenger for Asuka, which I like. Cesaro defeats Olivia Max to become the European champion. I had plans for this. It was meant to go a different direction, but I've always wanted to make Cesaro this champion, and it's a solid enough match for my liking, so we're going to keep this going. Dean Ambrose now cuts a promo about how he had his title stolen with the Money in the Bank and he wants it back and will take it back tonight. We have a 4-way tag team match where we have the Briscoe brothers defeating The Arrival, American Alpha and Young Bucks. An elimination style match, which is great. Yeah, I needed to keep a few of these tag teams fresh. I have 2 face teams, 2 heel teams. Everything's come together for this well enough to keep everybody involved looking good. 64 is a good rating. Bray Wyatt cuts a promo on how Sheamus will meet the Demon Finn Balor later tonight, and then maybe he'll get another shot at me. So this has all worked out well. Another great rating. Finn Balor defeats Sheamus in his debut, might be a second match. I've kept Finn Balor off the card as much as possible just to be a bit of a shock whenever we ended up using him. So I'm happy with where everything on this match went. It was never going to be the best of matches. They don't click. And we got plenty to play with Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt together. CM Punk defeats Bobby Roode to become the #1 contender. An 80 match is brilliant, so I'm very happy with this. But afterwards, The Rock comes out to attack CM Punk. These two have unfinished business, so I'm happy to say it's a great rating. And it also means Punk does have a title match in the future. In our next Battle Royale, Roman Reigns wins. Yes, it seems a bit silly to only give Roman Reigns the win, but I had to fit everyone on the card. There's a lot of little odd storylines here. We have the main attractions as such. We've got Cole, Del Rio, Cruz, Austin Aries needed a match, need to keep him looking good on cards. We have the Corbin Cruz rivalry, Bubba Ray. I need to find something. Carlito makes up the numbers, and a few of the others. I did have Joe in this, and we had Joe, Baron Corbin, and Kurt Angle. Baron Corbin got the most eliminations, and Samoa Joe was actually eliminated by Roman Reigns, which causes him to be furious. It's a solid battle royale. I'm not going to lie, I couldn't do much else with it. In the women's world title match, we have Sasha Banks defeat Charlotte and Nikki, and Sasha defeats Nikki with the bankrupt. This means that the next pay-per-view will be Charlotte versus Sasha for the women's title, and I think that will be a brilliant start to the women's solo pay-per-views. So I'm really happy that this has got such a good rating. And Charlotte floors Sasha after watching her beat Nikki, which again helps. An 84 is great for a women's thing, so we can see this improvement in their popularity is helping their performances. Considering I got told this would be a warning that this has been repeated too often, Sami Zayn defeats Kevin Owens with a hell of a kick to win the Intercontinental title. An 81 is quality, and I think this might have only been penalised because they've had so many matches. So my main reason for this is I want to move Kevin to the next level, and Sami can hold the Intercontinental sort of size title really well. New opponents coming in as well, so this helps everything, and Kevin Owens can now start moving into the truly main event picture. Rusev attacks Daniel Bryan backstage, leaving him on the floor in agony. Now this has been put into the card, I didn't have time to put an I Quit match in. They needed more time. I wanted to have these two have an I Quit match, and then I got a warning saying I can't use them again. So I took my chances on this working. So Rusev gets the final punch on Daniel Bryan. We can have an I Quit match between them at Survivor Series maybe. But let's see what we can do. We're not going to beat 100 rating, so it worked for what it needed to do really well. AJ Styles defeats Randy Orton with the top rope Styles clash. Defense number 2. This one also got a penalised warning for being overused, which disappointed me because most of those matches were actually a couple of months ago. Have to keep AJ looking strong. Randy Orton's always a good opponent for anybody, so that's good. And now we move into the next matches, I believe. We have Dean Ambrose defeat Kofi Kingston when Big E got him disqualified. Yes, this is kind of a cheap finish. It's a great match throughout, but Kofi Kingston keeps the belt, which is the important thing about this. This I thought would have been a lot better, but Triple H loses to Dolph Ziggler when The Undertaker ran in to come and collect Triple H's soul. I probably should have let Dolph win this clean, but I didn't want to, so I wanted to have The Undertaker on the card and make a shock appearance. They don't suit the hardcore style match. Sure. This should have been a lot better. I really thought this would have been the highlight of the night, because I believe it's actually CM Punk versus Bobby Roode. Seth Rollins defeats John Cena in the Hell in a Cell. Remember, if Cena had lost this match, he will no longer get any world title matches for 1 year, because Brock Lesnar broke into this Hell in a Cell and attacked John Cena. Now, I'm really disappointed with the final outcome of that match. Don't like the style of matches. Great. Brock Lesnar continues his attack on John Cena, telling him welcome to Shockwave. This obviously is a spoiler, but John Cena and Brock Lesnar are going to both be on Shockwave together. I want to shock John Cena away from Rollins and certain other people for a while, so this is a poor finish to my show. So I'm only probably going to get about a 75-ish. I got an 80, so I'm not. If you look from this match onwards, we pretty much got above a 75 on every match. If that had been a little bit higher, we would have got even more. So I'm really happy with an 80 rating for SummerSlam. I consider that a success. I will praise Bobby Roode and CM Punk because they put on the match of the night. Let's see, Bobby Roode. Well, we have way too many different people. And CM Punk. I don't think he'll care about it too much. And we're going to give Sasha some praise because she's going to be carrying a division now. So head back and we'll see what the world thinks of this. And we're back to the main screen, so we will see what the news reads. SummerSlam, excellent, struck gold, I'm happy. Decisions, just Paige confirming her new contract, that's simple enough. One of my main eventers, and the pay rise thing is going to happen because I've increased popularities. Only a couple of booking complaints. Pushes, we'll worry about that later. Fair enough. The storylines, as we know, a lot of these are going to end especially on SmackDown. That's a fresh one. I still can't believe how good that one's going. Making an Impact's always cruising. They have had a match set for the next pay-per-view. That's weak because that wasn't good enough, but I could add people to that now. The world title one is still quality. We can have one more match, or I could have my twist come in. This one's finished. That's terrifyingly bad. That's good. That's finished. The US title match is finished. The women's is great. That is great, but sadly it is also finished. The women's tag's solid enough in the IC's title. The Beast Unleashed, that's got plans. Well, that's going to have John Cena added. We can quickly do that one ourselves. Because we saw what happened at the end of that pay-per-view. Breeze has had enough, is coming up. Well, Cruiserweight's okay. That's going to have a few twists and turns. Number one contender. Well, technically that has finished, so we need to find something new for that. And so on down. That's good. I like that. As we look at creative, we'll just check who's hot. Ziggler is number one now, which is actually quite good. Billy Gage right up there. Who is not? Rosa Mendes. Or the usual ones really, nobody knew. Now as it comes to this brand split, as such for the male SmackDown roster, I have already done Andre Cool, Goldust, R-Truth and Rip have all gone to Shockwave. Alex Peck, Lance Rush and Jay Lethal went to Raw. And the following is as Adam Cole is going to Shockwave. Apollo Crews is going to Shockwave. Bad News Barrett is going to Raw. Baron Corbin is heading to Raw. Bray Wyatt is also heading to Raw. His Money in the Bank still counts. Cody Rhodes is going to Shockwave. Damien Sandow is also going to Shockwave. Daniel Bryan is going to Raw, which I think is going to be very stacked. I did this quite randomly. And Drew McIntyre is off to Shockwave. Finn Balor is joining Bray Wyatt on Raw. John Cena is going to Shockwave, we know about this. John Morrison is going to Raw, so he doesn't get his rematch, which is disappointing for him. Mark Henry is going to Shockwave. Not sure what we'll do with Mark Henry. Rusev is going to Shockwave. As you can see, I split up some of the main ones that were in rivalries, so we can get some fresh ones. Ryback is going to Raw. Seth Rollins is going to Raw. And Sheamus is also going to Raw. So that should have split this up a bit more to be slightly fairer. That will do for this episode. We'll come back and do Raw next time and see where these new storylines are going. Thank you all for watching.